else? Okay, I'm gonna talk about this because now this one. Something else the Lord's been working on me with, forgiveness. That has been a big theme over the past couple of years, and I'm gonna be honest, it's still a theme because yeah, I was in this place where I just felt like, God, like, why do, kind of like I was talking about earlier, but just like when you feel like you try to genuinely like do the right thing, and of course I'm not perfect by any means, so like never think that. I know people don't, because I can be off the chain at times, you know, and you know, I just can. But I realized that like that's something that I really was struggling with, and I also realized how, because of me struggling with that, how I have hindered myself in a lot of ways. In a couple of ways that I want to talk about, because in ways of where, because of unforgiveness, it has hindered me from being able to formulate relationships and connections with people that, you know, could be good for me, right? So kind of like developing this level of hypervigilance and thinking that, oh, if I get close to this person, you know, something's gonna happen, or this is gonna occur, or, you know, they gonna do me wrong, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And that's just unhealthy. And, you know, it's something that God has really been working on me about, because it's like, he's like, look, you know, everybody is not a bad person, and not even these people that do wrong are bad people, you know. That's a conversation for another day, because I really don't feel like anybody is innately bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel like their life experiences and trauma shapes a person's decisions, and you can pick, you know, how you process said trauma, and if you are going to project it onto other people. And, you know, it's one of those things that's like, going back to what I was saying about forgiveness, like, that I feel like I really had been sorting through those feelings with, because I realized that, you know, in unforgiveness, yeah, I was just I feel like I was blocking good things from coming to me, in a sense. And like, I'm still working on this, because it's like, I can get in this mode of where I just feel like, what am I trying to say? God help me, God help me. I'm still working on this, because I feel like I can get in this mode of where like, I just, I can hold grudges. I'm not even gonna lie. But this is the, okay, let me, because I feel like I need to break this down. If it's like a one-time situation, or if a person's just having a bad day, that's one thing, because I have bad days. I realize there's times where like, I don't know how I could come off to a person, and me like maybe just being in my head, or it could be something like that really happened to me that day. Like I lost a family member, and I'm, you know, acting standoffish, and it has nothing to do with anybody around me, but it's because like, I'm dealing with stuff internally. But at the end of the day, that's still not a reason to treat somebody wrong, right? And that's why I think that I can go in, when I'm not feeling my best, I can go in hibernation, because I don't want to ever take out whatever issues that I'm having onto anybody else, because I don't like that feeling. And, you know, when you go back and you rewind it in your head and you're like, you know, I don't like that. But at the end of the day, we're, you know, nobody's perfect. We're all human. So things happen, but at the same time, you know, it's still one of those things that's like, you may not have the intention to hurt a person, but you still, like, okay, using this for an example, like, I could could go up to somebody and pop them in the head and be like, you know, I didn't mean to hit you. But at the end of the day, even though I didn't mean to, or I say that that wasn't my intention, was to hurt them, you know, me hitting a person could injure them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's kind of how I was looking at certain things when it came to like, just when I'm not feeling my best. Like, I don't want to, I may not intentionally do something to hurt a person, but if I'm not healed, or if I am in a place of where I'm dealing with my own stuff, and then I get around a person and, you know, like, I just don't have a good attitude, like, I don't want that to affect another person. You know what I'm saying? But let me go back to what I was originally saying, because again, I can be, you know, go off on a tangent. But what I was saying was like, basically how, going back to what I was saying though, about how like, you know, even though, God help me, what was I saying? Oh, going back to what I was saying, like, about how, oh, like, if it's a, you know, one-time thing, that's one thing. But like, if you're around somebody and you start to heal, and then that person is offended by just your confidence, right? Because there is a thin line between arrogance and confidence, and I had to learn that. And you know, God humbled me in a lot of ways, and I feel like and that's why I want to do a video about just like my lessons that I learned from Insecure, because I feel like, yeah, we got to talk about Insecure, because what is going on? What is with the ending? Ugh. I'm not gonna, because some people may not have watched all of it, so I don't want to go into that. I'm gonna have to put a trigger warning when I do that video. But anyway, see, I get distracted. But what I learned from Insecure was that at the end of the day, we all have insecurities, right? But it's about how you deal with said insecurities. And you know, if you have insecurities to the point where it affects other people, then that's where I feel like we just have to do a heart check and say, okay, like, why am I feeling like this? Or why do I feel offended by this person's confidence? Or why do I feel this way towards this person, right? And I just realized that, like, there's times where I feel like I've been in situations, like when I was younger, like with different friend groups, I guess you could say, like, I don't know, it's like people like the version of you when you are, okay, let me say this. God separated me from some people, okay, because when I was being negative, when I was being in drama and, you know, just extra stuff, bad extra stuff, not good extra, you know, all of that was cool, right? But when he did a work in regards to like healing a lot of parts of myself, to where when I go in certain settings and people are just being negative, or people are, you know, having the same conversations that we was having when we was 21, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's hard for me. I'm trying to find the balance, because it's like, you know, everybody deals with things in different ways, right? So at the end of the day, like, you know, for example, like, I do feel like a lot of it can stem from like a person's upbringing. So, but again, just because you deal with things or you went through certain things when you were younger, you know, it's like the word says, when you was a child, you spoke as a child, but when you become adult, we got to put away childish things, right? So, I don't know. I just feel like I had a lot of people in my life that would be like judging me for things that they would do themselves. And that's one of my pet peeves. Like, don't or even not stuff that they would necessarily do themselves, but like, okay, I just gotta use this as an example because I'm just thinking about it. So in my early 20s, like, I was not the best with money. Like, I literally like was terrible. And you know, again, I didn't grow up seeing entrepreneurs. Like, I grew up seeing people, you know, just like, hey, because another thing too, that's another thing I want to talk about, because people are quick to like try to act like just because you see a person put together, or you see their parents that have a certain car or have this, that makes them rich or makes them this. But we don't talk about the other side of like the debt, okay? And how, yeah, it may look a certain way, but does that really mean they rich? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a conversation for another day. And I'm not necessarily talking about personal family. I don't know, we're not gonna get into all of that, okay? Yeah, because I ain't got time for nobody to text me talking, why you putting all the family business out there? Anyways, but I, you know, at that point, I'm at a place now too where it's like, you know, hey, I got to tell my truth, and if other people are included in that, then, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is how, I don't know, I used to have this person in my life that would always like be super judgmental about like me developing in getting better spending habits and things like that. And I would, you know, of course this was an area that I needed to improve in, but and at the end of the day, in their life, like, that was something that they were good in. But in the same aspect, there would be areas in their life where I could tell, like, emotionally, you know, they was in and out of toxic relationships and things of that nature. And again, at the end of the day, I used to do the same thing, so I can't talk about nobody. But that's my issue, is like, don't judge me. Like, I'm not gonna judge you for things that you're doing, but don't judge me for things that I'm doing and then act like you perfect. That's just my pet peeve. Like, let's not do that, because everybody has areas that they're trying to develop in. Some people develop quicker in different areas, right? Because I do, and that's why, let me go back to what I was saying about your upbringing, because I feel like, let's say you saw entrepreneurs all your life growing up, right? And you grew up in a very like disciplined home, whereas somebody like me, I didn't see that, and I definitely did not grow up in a disciplined home. So those are things that in my adulthood, I feel like I'm still teaching myself certain life skills that I should have been knew, right? But, you know, again, how they talk about like people being raised off of survival and people being raised off of love, like, that's a real thing, because it's like, and it could be both, you know? I don't think it's a one size fits all thing, but those type of things do make you, everybody looks at life differently. And I think that we have to really be mindful of that and be mindful of people's process, because just because you're more developed in a certain area doesn't mean that you don't still have things that you need to work on, and vice versa. And the difference between me is, I'm not gonna judge you for not being developed in a certain area, but don't judge me for, you know, certain things that I'm working on too, okay? And if we really want to talk about it, because, you know, again, talking about and realizing that, like, how the verse talks about, again, when you as a child, you spoke as a child. When you become adult, you put away some of those, you put away, you know, the childish things. And I feel like I genuinely have gained a lot of progress in a lot of different areas in my life, whether it be paying off debt. Like, I paid off a lot of my student loans. I have, you know, done a lot of things that adults should do. So I'm not expecting a cookie for it or nothing. But it's just like, again, you know, just save the judgment, because that's what irritates me, is when people will judge you for things like they're perfect, like I was saying, but they act like they don't have areas in their life that they need to improve in. That's irritating. Side note, y'all, I really need to find my other camera battery, because this whole having to wait to record until it charges is for the birds. And it's like almost 3 o'clock in the morning now because I've been having to stop. Whew. So I'm about to wrap this video up because clearly it's hard to talk about years worth of things I've been learning in, you know, a short amount of time. But yeah, so I said what I said about the last subject. Last thing I really, let me see, hold on. Okay, I feel like I said the world tells you to rush, but the art tells you to take your time. So I talked about that with patience. Okay. I pretty much talked about a good amount of things that I want to talk about in this video. But the last thing I did want to talk about that I did write down, hold on, was just taking care of your body. So that is definitely something I feel like in the past couple of years that I'll be honest and admit that, like, in the past I wasn't as kind to my body, I should say, right? And I'm just learning the importance of it, because like the importance of being kind to your body, you know, taking care of yourself, what you eat, your space, and again, these are things that I'm learning still, but like I really notice a difference when like let's use food for example. I know if I'm not, I can always tell a difference when I'm not eating right, and I'm not, you know, putting the proper food and nutrients in my body. Okay, I notice a difference right away in my skin, in my energy levels. So I've just been trying to, you know, really do good with that. Like at some point during Rona, I wanted to become a whole herbalist, and that still might be on the list of things to do before the end of the world, you know. But yeah, but just really getting deeper into that aspect of things, because I don't know, I feel like too, when I was younger, I didn't learn about, I don't know, I feel like in certain ways I was a little sheltered to a certain extent in regards to like just not being aware of certain things. And you know, now that I'm 29, so I'm about to be 30 in May, and it's just one of those things, it's like the older I get, you know, hey, I be having back problems. And I think one thing that I really thought about was just like my aunt, for example. So I had an aunt that had passed away, and she basically, like, she used to smoke cigarettes like back to back to back to back to back to back type stuff, you know, and didn't really take care of herself the way that I feel like she probably could have, and some things was out of her control, because when she got to a certain age, it was just hard for her to even move around, which was super hard for her because she was very independent. But I don't know, I think that situation just taught me, rest in peace Aunt Sue, because like, I don't know, it's like sometimes things happen in your life, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional. Why am I getting emotional? I'm trying not to get emotional because it's like, there's certain things that happen in your life that make you just realize, like, you know, I just want to live my full life. Like, and I see the things that she had to go through, that like growing up in that time, and you know, the just climate of the world at that time for Black women, to, you know, before she died, like, people would call, quote unquote, say that she's bitter, you know, or people would have said certain things about her but not take into account, you know, all of the things that she had to experience that was unfair to her, you know. And there were things that, you know, again, like the smoking cigarettes every day, that was her choice, you know what I'm saying? But I think that she was trying to cope and deal with things, not saying that it's, oh, you know, okay, I'm not necessarily saying that, but like, I don't know, it's just stuff like that that makes me realize just the importance of like taking care of myself, because like when she died, you know, I remember she like broke her hip, and she could barely move around, and was like literally like sleeping in a chair in her trailer. She couldn't move to like even go, you know, do basic things like climbing in the bed or go to the bathroom on her own. And on her own, she had to wear a diaper, and she was like 68, I think. So, you know, it's just stuff like that that like I think about. And I've even been dealing with just, and I wasn't gonna go all into this, but just even dealing with like feelings of guilt, because it was hard for me to like see her like that, and I wish I would have like visited her more, you know. And it's one of those things that's like, that's why I think that really taught me like the importance of time, because you know, you never know when somebody won't be here. And so going back to what I was saying about forgiveness, like that's why, you know, I have been working on that aspect of things, forgiveness, because of stuff like that. Now on the flip side of that, because people will also use things, and this is not, I'm not talking about my aunt at this point, I'm just saying in general, how like, because to me, because time is so important in regards to like how it can fly by, you know. I think that because of that, that's why we have to just be careful about who we spend our time with, where we spend our time. You know, people will say things like, oh, you know, you never know what's gonna happen, it's a pandemic, this and this and this, so you should hang out with this person, or you should do this with this person. And my thing is, you know, like time has been a factor forever. So because of that, when I say that, like time, again, we never know when something's gonna happen. There's people that are my age that I'm seeing this passed away, you know. And so I guess that's why, like, I just want to be the best in all aspects holistically, like, and just be my best self. Like, I don't want to settle for a life of what other people say I should do, or just settling for the wrong relationships, the wrong friendships. Like, I just want to be in a space of where holistically, like, I am in a joyful, and I was gonna say jovial, but I'm just in a state of happiness in a sense, you know. And I recognize, again, it's not gonna be an all the time thing. I'm gonna have my moments, but like, the more that I can eliminate factors in my life that don't serve me, so whether it is, you know, letting go of that toxic person that you keep, you know, going back to, and they showing you time and time again how toxic they are, you know, yes, you can forgive them, but at the same time, like, forgiveness does not always equate reconnection. So, you know, I can forgive you, but you know, you don't appreciate me or my presence at the end of the day. And I'm, you know, genuinely trying to like be there for you. And I mean, this is a case-by-case basis, because this is not across the board, because, you know, God may call you to go be with somebody. When I say be with somebody, not necessarily from a romantic standpoint, you know, he may, let's say, you know, I work at a nursing home, right? And y'all know how I am with these examples, but I work in a nursing home, and I have to deal with like difficult patients every day. Like, you know, at the end of the day, that may be my calling, right? And I have to learn how to deal with those attitudes. But when it comes to like people that, like, you know, I don't just look at them as an associate, like this is somebody you know, I have deeper connections with, right? I don't know, I'm just very careful about who I allow in my space, like I was kind of talking about earlier, which that can be a good and bad thing at times, because again, hypervigilance in regards to, like, you know, not wanting to let people in and building a wall can create you to block blessings because you're always on guard with people. But at the same time, I realized that, you know, so, you know, it's like, I don't know, I just realized that, God help me. I just want to, I don't know, I just realized how important connections are, because I personally feel like when you are trying to grow as a person, the first thing that can happen if you're not careful is, let me say this. When God wants to bless you, he can send connections and relationships to you. And then on the flip side of that, when the enemy wants to distract you, he will also send relationships and connections. So you just have to have discernment and really discern, like, okay, again, like, you know, what is the character of this person? Are they a good person? Again, they may not be perfect. They may have their days, because I have my days. I know I'm not perfect. But if you're around somebody and again, you just having the same conversations over and over again, gossip and foolishness, or that person is always bringing you some news about something that you're trying to move on from, or if, you know, you just observe the way that they treat people, or you could be at a restaurant and they're just being rude to the waitress. I know that's random, but I'm just thinking about stuff because it's just like, you know, it's a lot of things that, like, I feel like until I came into a place of healing that I didn't notice about people around me. And now that I have came into that place, it's like, you know, again, not cutting them off or not trying to, like, not be around them. And at the end of the day, sometimes you just need space, and it's personal and has nothing to do with anybody else, you know. And that's another thing that I feel like we need to normalize, is like allowing people to work on themselves without taking it personal. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying like if it's in a professional setting, you have responsibilities and things that you have to do. I'm not saying about that, but like sometimes people need to, like, God, I feel like God will take you through a period of separation because he wants you to block out the noise and really hone in on who you are without outside influences. And again, it's not that like these influences, some influences are bad, and you got to be careful because, you know, I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, you know, look at people like Selena, prime example. I mean, I'm sure sis didn't expect, wasn't her personal assistant, her assistant to kill her, but it was the person that was close to her, like one of the people that was closest to her. So yes, you absolutely have to be careful who you allow in your space and who you allow in your circle. Okay, so you know, I'm very particular about stuff like that because I ain't got time. Y'all not gonna set me up. Okay, again, this is a case by case basis. I'm not saying everybody. Your character will show over time, you know. And if, again, it's one thing you having a bad day, but then if every time I'm around you it's always some foolishness or you just absolutely negative 24/7, you know, I have to watch that because that can rub off on me. And I realized growing up in a negative environment at times, like how even subconsciously, like I can say stuff and not even realize it till afterwards, and I'm like, dang, like, you know. And it's not an all the time thing, and I feel like I've done a lot of inner work so that I don't do that, because again, I don't want to project anything onto anybody else, you know. But yeah, it's just like you just have to be careful. Like you have to be careful, because I really do feel like even subconsciously you may think that like, oh, it doesn't affect me, but then when you really look at it, it's like, nah, you doing stuff that you wouldn't even thought about doing until you got around this person. You out here going, trying to, I can think of many situations of where I've done stuff out of, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm just being honest and transparent, out of peer pressure that was not in my character, you know. And at the end of the day, I have to take responsibility for myself, because nobody forced me or put a gun to my head to do any of this stuff. But you know, I just feel like your influences are important, because if you are around, how it talks about bad company corrupts good character, if you try to do right and you know, people just trying to lead you astray in a sense, and it may not even be purposely, but it's just like, if it doesn't align with where you're going and the things that you're trying to do, you just have to use discernment to say, okay, well, it's not all, and it may not always be a situation of where, oh, I got to cut this person off. It may just be where, you know, you got to distance yourself a little bit. And so one thing I realized too is that at the end of the day, the people that are not supposed to be in your life, like, I saw this post that was like, imagine you thinking that you cut me off, but I prayed to God to remove the people that did not need to be in my life, and that he will do, okay? That he will do. So, you know, in those situations, like, you don't even have to do anything. Like, God will literally, whoop, whoop, they got to go. They got to go, because it's gonna rub off on you, and then you wondering why you all twisted and mad at the world, and mad at somebody because they confident, or mad at them because they healing, or they light is shining, and it's because you round the wrong MFers. Okay, so yeah, I said all that to say, because I went on a little tangent, because I was it was something else I was gonna say to that, just about, I started talking about Selena, and then about how, oh, going back to, I guess, just how, you know, the right relationships, and how, again, being in the right relationships with people, you know, that's important. I feel like I went on a little tangent, but yeah, because it was something else I was going to say after I talked about Selena, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But I'll say this, I just feel like, you know, I'm just in a season where it's like, I don't know, I just want to be around people that genuinely want me around them, with no ulterior motives, you know, and that have good character, you know. Like, I don't feel like it's that hard to be a good person, but people be making it seem like it is. And again, I know good can be subjective, but it's just like, what's the word I'm looking, where's the line? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do we say, okay, you know, this is okay, this isn't, you know. I feel like ultimately your intuition, the Holy Spirit, will tell you what's out of line and what's in line. But again, we have free will, so people make their own choices. And my thing is, once you cross that line, I just feel like you gotta stay there. Like, no, I'm not gonna say that, because, you know, I've done a lot of bad things and Jesus forgave me, so I'm working on, you know, again, that part of forgiveness, because at the end of the day, you know, nobody's perfect. But again, it's levels to me, because if it's an all the time thing, that's one thing. But if it's, you know, every now and then you having a bad day, I can understand that, because we all do. But if it's an all the time thing, that makes me feel like that's your character. And if your character is shysty, then I want no parts, okay? Because, you know, if you're not loyal to yourself, then you can't be loyal to me. You can't love me properly. That's why it says in the word, love others as you love yourself, okay? And if you don't love yourself, how can you love others, right? And that's something that, you know, I am learning. And that's why, again, like I told y'all, I had to kind of take some time to myself, because I'm like, you know, I don't want to lead anyone astray, and I don't want to, like, what am I trying to say? Like, I just don't want to be a stumbling block. That's the word I'm looking. Thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That I don't want to be a stumbling block for anybody else. Okay. So yeah. Y'all. Okay, I think we're done. Let me look at my brain dump real quick. I don't know how I got on the subject of that when I was talking about taking care of my body. I think, okay, yeah, but that clearly needed to be said. But yeah, again, hey, if y'all see me become a herbalist, you know. And for those Christians, they're like, what is a herbalist? Look it up. Google is free. That's another thing in 2022. I'm not explaining stuff to people, especially like African American things. AAVE, okay? If you don't know what that means, as a white person, you know, you don't need to know, okay? But, well, African American vernacular English, okay? Certain things that we all know and we can say to each other, and y'all be trying to copy it, but then swear up and down that y'all created it. That's another conversation. I'm gonna do a talk on that too, because I get tired of see, here I go, I be going on these rants. I just get tired of folks because they be trying to act like, anyways, Lord, that's a conversation for another day, because I will go on a rant and a tangent. But yeah, that's one thing I was saying I'm not doing in 2022 is explaining or dimming myself down because, you know, or having to always explain myself to white people. And when I say white people, I'm not talking about the white people that get it, okay? If you get it, you get it. The girls that get it, and the ones that don't. And y'all show every day through y'all microaggressions who gets it and who don't, okay? So I'm not explaining, nope, Google it, okay? Please. And get your sources from black people, okay? Just because somebody did a study on 2 black children, and they was a white scientist, does not mean that they know everything about the African American community, okay? And anyways, oh God, I'm sorry. He's still working on me. He's still working on me. Yeah, I got to go into a whole, that's a conversation for another day. We're not getting into right now. So anyways, you know, I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. So yeah, okay, y'all, I'm about to go because 1, it's like 3 in the morning now. I'm a little sleepy. 2, what was I gonna say? Let me know in the comment section below, like, if there's anything specifically that you want me to discuss or want me to talk about. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I'm definitely excited to just, 1, let me leave off on this because I don't know, I feel like I spent a lot of years just trying to like be what everybody wanted me to be, in a sense, or catering to people because I felt like, oh, this is what people want to see, like, for example, hair videos and things like that. Which, let me be clear, because nothing is like, I realized that, like, I love style, I love hair, I love to change my hair. You know, more than likely anytime you see me, I'm gonna have a different hairstyle because I just like changing it up, you know. But I realized that, like, there were certain things that I was just talking about because it felt like, well, you know, if I don't talk about relationships or if I don't talk about my hair, you know, who's gonna listen to what I'm talking about? Because I feel like that's what a majority of society, all they really care about, you know. And not, again, it's nothing wrong if that's like y'all, your general, your genuine interest, right? But yeah, I feel like I gotta go deeper because the way that our generation is, we gotta talk about things outside of just looking like we got it together, because we got the hair, we got the eyelashes, the makeup. And again, nothing's wrong with that stuff, because baby, being a makeup artist is an art, okay? And it took me forever to even put on this little couple of little foundation I got on now. So I have 100% respect for makeup artists, because baby, y'all be doing it, okay? But I'm just saying, like, I think that nowadays there's so many people that are led a certain path out of feeling like that's the only way to be successful, or that's the only way to do certain things. And so for myself, I'm just working more on like just being my authentic self. Like, yes, I'm Millie and I love to change my hair, I love to dress up and, you know, look good, but that's not all that I am either, you know what I'm saying? I feel like when I first started my channel, like, I literally was just like, oh well, I want to inspire people, but the way that I can do that is through, you know, making hair videos. I got to do something to keep people's attention. I got to catch their attention. That was my thoughts when I first started my channel. And I feel like I kind of like lost parts of myself in a sense, because it's like, yeah, all that stuff is cool. But like, that's not all, again, that's not the only aspect of myself. Like, I don't want to just be, you know, y'all coming to my page looking at my curly hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to talk about things. Like, I want to talk about things that's going on in the world and just things I'm learning. Like, this really being like a virtual, what's the word? Not a diary, because it's, you know, privacy is real and we got to keep privacy, okay? But just a way to document like just my story in a sense, you know? And because I'm thinking about it like, I'm thinking about it too from the perspective of like, if I want to pass something down, let's say I do one day have a family that I want them to know, you know, how I was when I was younger, you know, and how I evolved into the person that they would see, you know, like, so. And then even thinking about it from the perspective of like having people in my life that have passed away, and then having those memories of like seeing, you know, old VHS tapes of like my stepdad on camera. Like, those are things that, like, you know, in seeing that type of stuff, like, it really is like, I'm glad my mom taped those things, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking about it from that perspective, and just how like I want my story to be told. Because at the end of the day, if we don't tell our story, somebody's gonna tell it for us, and it's probably gonna be wrong, okay? So, you know, unless it's the right person telling it. But you know, a lot of times it seems with Black people, they get it wrong and swear they know. So I need it to come from the horse's mouth, okay? Which is me, okay? I'm not a horse, but yeah. Well, y'all, okay, I'm about to close out, and that was a little side tangent, but yeah, I hope that everybody, again, is taking care of their mental health. Definitely comment below just some, you know, what am I gonna say? 2022, I said, what did I say my word was this year? Y'all done forgot. I don't know, but I guess I didn't set a word, because I was like, look, we just gotta, again, slowly go into this new year, because it'd be a lot going on. But yeah, okay, camera's down again, so I guess that's my signal. So yeah, y'all, yeah, but y'all leave below, you know, just some things that you are wanting out of this year. I don't think anything's wrong with setting intentions. And yeah, and definitely, if you like the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell to keep in touch with what is going on this channel, because I definitely am going to be more consistent and post more this year. So I'm excited, and I hope that you all liked and enjoyed this video. So I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.